This is John Flanders with Pluralsight, and in this module, I'm going to talk about the Facebook Graph API as used from iOS. So at the end of this module, you will or should be able to understand how to use the Facebook Graph API to read data from Facebook to write data to a user's social graph. So what is this thing called the Graph API? On one level, it's just an HTTP endpoint or API that exposes data from Facebook. This is the main API you're going to use whenever you want to read data from Facebook. It's one of two APIs that you'll use for writing data to Facebook. The other one is called the Open Graph API. And Open Graph will be the subject of the next module in this course. The Graph API is, as I said, really an API into the data of Facebook. And so in some ways, it's like any other HTTP or sort of RESTful API. It has links and connections. And that's really the graph, right? The graph is the user's social graph. The user who is using your app has connections, has friends, has videos, has photos. Friends have friends. And so all these connections or hyperlinks are what is called that user's social graph. So here are some example Graph API resources. Some Graph API resources have more than one valid URI. So for example, if you want to get the current user, you can go to /me. /me is a shortcut for /ID, whatever the Facebook's user's ID is. Going to /me is just slightly more convenient because you don't have to bother to try to look up the user's ID from the access token. You can just say, hey, give me the information about the current logged in user. And the URI is graph.facebook.com/me. Now, in terms of links, a user has photos. So you could go to /me/photos. You could also go to /albumid/photos to give you photos from a particular album. A user also has a feed. So posts that the user has put on Facebook can be found at /me/feed, as well as /me/post. /me/videos shows me my videos, or the user's videos in this case. /me/friends. /me/locations. So locations I've been. Now again, this is not an exhaustive list, but it sort of centers around the user. The user, again, in the case of the application running on iOS, is going to ask for /me, and then generally branch out along the graph based upon what is it that your app wants to do. So calling the Graph API, very simple. It's just an HTTP GET when you want to read data. The one caveat is you always must include a valid access token, and that access token has to be not only valid, but it has to be valid for that particular resource. So this goes back to the module where I talked about asking for permissions. There are a number of different permissions, and so that resource that you're asking for has to fall in one of the read permissions that you've asked for.